This is this Q&A town hall pre-screened questions that Bob Iger was facing, because don't think for 1 second that he didn't know all the questions that were going to be coming his way. They were 100% new. They were screened. This was planned out. Also, spoiler alert, Bob Iger never left Disney. He's been there the whole fucking time. I saw some people talking about yesterday, I can't believe Bob Iger's keeping the hiring freeze in place. Bob Iger's the one that put the fucking hiring piece in place. He put it there. He's the one who put that there. So of course he's going to continue it, because the motherfucker has been there the whole time, behind the scenes, running the ship. I just don't know how anybody could think Bob Chapek was actually running this company. Bob Chapek was nothing more than a front man and a fall guy. Bob Iger straight up lies in a couple of these clips, but it's actually funny to hear him kind of admit that Disney needs to move in a different direction. They're not going to. They're just going to pretend that they're going to move in a different direction. But
all right, yeah, this is from Christopher Rufo. Keep in mind, this is the same guy that had those leaked Zoom calls of all these Disney executives talking about the not-so-gay agenda, all this stuff. He did great work on that. Christopher Rufo is also the guy who said when they hired Bob Iger that they're moving away from woke. Clearly tells me Christopher Rufo might not have been paying attention to what Bob Iger did before he stepped down as CEO, but let's listen to this.
Here's a virtual question. Many cast members had wished that Disney stayed out of politics. Will Disney stay out of making political statements?
You know, I think there's a misperception here about what politics is. And I think that some of the subjects that have proven to be controversial as it relates to Disney have been branded political, and I don't necessarily believe they are. I don't think when you are telling stories and attempting to be a good citizen of the world that that's political. Just not how I view it. Do I like the company being embroiled in controversy? Of course not. It can be distracting, and it can have a negative impact on the company. And to the extent that I can work to kind of quiet things down, I'm going to do that. But I think it's important to put in perspective what some of these subjects are and not just simply brand them political.
that was a pathetic non-answer. And he's
well, he
essentially
kind of did answer it. It was more of basically no. And this is what the left does very, very good. And if you've actually had any back and forth with them, you've experienced that as well, where they deem things that you deem as political, they don't. So that's their way of weaseling kind of around it to say that, well, that's his way. In this case, weaseling a way around it to say, yeah, we're going to continue to do the same things. And because he doesn't deem them as political, it's not necessarily bad, essentially. So you're going to get much. I don't know why there were weirdos who thought that Iger being implemented was, or back in the driver's seat, was going to change anything, considering that he's the one kind of responsible for popping this whole shebang off. Crazy how people's memories is that short.
This dude was the CEO for 15 fucking years before the lockdowns. And now they think he's the guy that's going to fix it? I don't understand how anybody can come to that conclusion at all.
I have to get up to speed on that completely. Obviously, I followed the news. That development occurred after I left the company. I was sorry to see us dragged into that battle.
This is a lie.
I have no idea
100% lie.
Exactly what its ramifications are in terms of the business itself. What I can say is the state of Florida has been important to us for a long time, and we have been very important to the state of Florida. That is something I'm extremely mindful of and will articulate if I get the chance. But I don't have the details at all yet about what the ramifications are of the decision that was made by the state of Florida and whether we intend to do anything about it.
That is 100% lie. He knows everything about what happened with the Reedy Creek deal and when DeSantis got involved, and it completely destroyed them over them trying to get involved in policy.
On the Don't Say Gay bill, 1000%. That was a fallout of the Don't Say Gay bill, the Parental Rights and Education bill. There was a tweet he sent out back in February where all this happened, where Bob Iger retweeted Joe Biden and said, I agree with the president. If this law is passed in Florida, it means like violence towards LGBTQ children.
Because we all did videos. Yeah, he did do that.
This is the one specifically about the Don't Say Gay bill. That one is more about the Reedy Creek stuff. Right. You know what I mean? So, which I'm sure he does know about that too.
All right, another virtual question. What is your stance on the Don't Say Gay situation?
The fact that it was been allowed to gaslight into that, and we even call it that in parentheses, you know, just like mocking it, is crazy. And that's all the mainstream media doing that.
Well, first of all, our LGBTQ employees are very important to us, and we care deeply about them. That is a given.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for letting us know. None of your other employees are important. Just the LGBTQ plus IA. They're the ones that's important. Like, why even make that statement?
And if people don't know, it's the Florida Parental Education Act.
Parental Rights and Education.
Parental Rights and Education Act, yeah.
Secondly, this company has been telling stories for 100 years, and those stories have had a meaningful, positive impact on the world. And one of the reasons they've had a meaningful, positive impact is because one of the core values of our storytelling is inclusion and acceptance and tolerance. And we can't lose that. We just can't lose that. I think about Black Panther and the impact that had on the world, or a film like Coco. I mean, I could go on, and how we actually change the world for the good. It must continue. We also, when you tell stories, it's a delicate balance. You're talking to an audience, but it's also important to listen to an audience. It's important to have respect for the people that you're serving, that you're trying to reach, and not have disdain for it. That said, we're not going to make everybody happy all the time, and we're not going to try to. And we're certainly not going to lessen our core values in order to make everybody happy all the time. So it's complicated, and there's a balance. And I at one point I said, we do what we believe is right, and then someone criticized me for saying, well, who are you to say that that's right? Well, when you're in a job like mine, or you are responsible for the storytelling that many of you are responsible for, you get paid to have a sense for what is right. Not everybody will agree with you. That's just not the way the world is these days. But it doesn't mean you should stop trying to do the right thing.
So what is the right thing? My question. What is the right thing? Like, what if, and as I said in my video,
to the audience. He has to listen to the audience, right?
Strange and we know exactly what he's referring to when he's talking about the whole, like, you can't have disdain. That's a shot at his folks without actually taking a shot, because he knows that these guys have, and it's hurt them. Disney's suffered over the last years because of it, and that's just creatives within their company having legitimate disdain for their fucking audience. But he's not going to do shit to fix it. I can guarantee you that.
I don't want to get politically involved in things. We need to back off that as a company. This is him quote tweeting fucking senile President Joe Biden. I want every member of the LGBTQIA. Oh, you forgot the A, Joe Biden, you bigot plus community. Especially the kids who will be impacted by this hateful bill, to know you're loved and accepted just as you are. I have your back. I'm sure you fucking do. And my administration will continue to fight for the protections and safety you deserve. I'm with the president on this, Robert Iger. If passed, this bill will put vulnerable young LGBTQ people in jeopardy.
I think what Bob Iger is going to do is he's a manipulative person. So there's going to be this idea that he is turning things around, but that's not what's actually going to be happening. They're just going to be putting the illusion out there that they're turning things around. So the next time something comes out and people are like, oh, hey, Star Wars is saved. It's over. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Look, they actually care. Like, it's all meant to get that reaction from people. And then they're going to bring Forces Female right back into it as soon as the profits start turning around. They don't care.